Hey guys, happy Valentine's Day to everyone. Welcome back. Whether you're a newly grad or just curious about this space or simply want to reinvent yourself, these exploratory classes will potentially help you make some of those decisions, because the space that I'm talking about is going to be increasingly important and relevant as we move forward into the future, more specifically starting in 2003. So if you think about it, if we strategize 2001 and then 2002, by the time 2003 hits, we'll be in a much better state to reinvent ourselves, if that is what we want. And so that is basically one of the major goals of this channel, at least for now, with these classes. And the space that I'm talking about here is a marriage of the cognitive sciences, more specifically when it comes to brain waves, as well as cellular waves, we call them, let's say, biowaves, with technology, AI, machine learning, etc. It's inevitable for the machines in the very near future to become much more mainstream than they are at the moment, for them to become an extension of the human body and human brain. When I started this work back in 2013, the wearables and to some extent tattooables were not as sophisticated, but they are getting much more sophisticated as we move forward. And so it's just a matter of the time for them to hit the mainstream market and become a household, basically, device. And so if you're interested in these topics, there is a great opportunity for you to reinvent yourself for the upcoming type of technologies that are emerging more and more as we speak. And again, it has to do with connecting basically the human frequencies, human waves, with the machines. We already have these technologies evolved to some extent, but this evolution is just going to be much more elaborate, if you will, in the near future. And so in today's session, I'd like to share with you some of ways in which you can take some steps towards re-educating yourself or reinventing yourself if you are interested in this space and excited as much as I am. If you're interested in the technology portion, which is to say AI, as in AGI and ASI, which are the future of AI, then I'd say focus on learning Python. Python has become increasingly a popular programming language in the space of AI. One of the main reasons it's become more popular than, let's say, C++ is its more of an ease of use, if you will, or smoother use when you are trying to upload libraries, and the wealth of information that you can basically work with when you write in Python. Now, my background is in C++. I took, when I was doing computer science in college, I had to do it. So I don't have no Python background, but judging from what I have heard from those who use Python, as well as the huge forums and communities that it's surrounding it, it definitely sounds much smoother. Nonetheless, it is the language that is being increasingly used in AI. So if you want to go into the programming route, then I highly recommend Python. And learning Python, you really don't need money to learn it, because if you just Google it, there is a wealth of information. You just need patience and tenacity to teach yourself that. And so it is really nothing that you need a degree for, if you will. If you're really passionate, you can teach yourself Python. Now, if you're interested in the neurobiowaves sciences of that, you can also use online search to find experts such as these type of channels that you can teach yourself. Obviously, there's also a lot of material to be read about. Having said that, I would like to emphasize the fact that your typical research papers or textbooks, they are very much focused in the physical aspect of the sciences that we've learned about a human body and human brain. Not much in comparison does it exist when it comes to the frequency of it. And the reason you want to, during this process of teaching yourself new skills and reinventing yourself, if that is what you want, the reason the studies of frequencies become more important is because the marriage that I'm talking about between the technology and sciences, it happens at the frequency level, at the wave level. In other words, let's say when you have a wearable, that is going to make sure that the machine, the AI machine, let's say AGI, is an extension of the human body or human brain, then that wearable will collect the frequencies of the brain and cells. It's not going to connect to the physical brain like Neuralink does. That is more like for the health sciences. And so that's why if you want to learn and teach yourself this space, then I highly recommend that you focus on that. You can start by reading about the physical, let's say, brain and cells, obviously, because that's like the basic, and that's how we start. But when it comes to the comparison of how cognitive sciences have evolved when it comes to the physical brain and the physical body, it's really embarrassing when you compare that to the knowledge that we have or lack, or we don't have, I should say, about the brainwaves and whatnot. And so I highly insist and encourage everyone to get more inundated and more interested about that frequency space. For example, at this point in time, if you want to know what the, let's say hypothetically, brain frequencies mean, essentially what the sciences have done so far is that they've categorized them into alpha, beta wave, and gamma and theta, etc. categories. And then we also have just defined those categories. Let's say we say that if you're at an alpha wave, that means that you most probably have your eyes closed and you're in a meditative state and you're not moving. But that's basically about it. Having said that, there is a wealth of knowledge that is traveling on those frequencies, on those brain frequencies, and we have failed. Science have failed to address those. And that's one other reason that I've dedicated a lot of my research around that topic. And so going back to, for example, the future of machines, let's say AGI being an extension of the human body and human brain, those wearables will communicate it only at the frequency level, because there is no wires that is connecting, for example, you and I at this point. We are communicating at a wireless level, and those wearables are doing the same thing. Even tattooables, the tattooables that we have today, at least when I started, they were not as sophisticated as they are today, but they are sensors that read brain waves or biowaves, and those will be communicated to those machines through this wireless technology. And so my postdoc is, and continuation to my doctoral work, will continue to be focused on the wireless sort of aspect of the communication that is happening and will happen more and more between humans and machines, them being an extension of us. And that is the reason I'm suggesting for us to focus on this space, especially if you want to learn new skill set or you want to reinvent yourself, because that is the future. When I started in 2013, I clearly see a huge improvement and development in these technologies. And so it's inevitable for all these to happen in the future. I mean, only in 7 years they have developed drastically, let alone in the next few years. And so there is 2023, there is going to be a more or less of an explosion when it comes to these technologies, which gives us about 2 years to for us to strategize and learn these spaces and focus on the parts that we're interested in, because by the time these technologies will come, then all these companies, they need people, they need talent. And so if we have prepared ourselves by that time, we're going to be really in a good space, not only to basically have a job, but also have something that we are happy with, that it's emotionally content for us and it's satisfying, but also the fact that we are helping bringing change and evolution into the world. And the type of humanitarian efforts that we can use by developing and designing these future of technologies is just endless. It's amazing what some scientists and technologists have already done for humanity, starting from health sector, but also to education and all those good stuff. So this space is extremely satisfying and exciting, because we will also be able to be the future generation who can help the next generation evolve and help bringing good change in this world. I will keep dropping knowledge in this channel as much as I can based on what I have learned in my literature review when I was doing my thesis, as well as my own sort of studies and research. And because I have background working in the tech giant world of Silicon Valley, and because I also have background in cognitive sciences, more specifically brainwaves, and to some extent cellular waves, I will be also connecting the dots between or among those disciplines in this channel, such that it hopefully gives you inspiration and ideas as to where you want to take your life to and which steps that you want to take in order to improve your life for your future and of course your family's future. So that is what I will be trying to do in this channel, and I'll just keep adding. Another aspiration that I have, that I sort of don't want to talk too much about it right now, but I do want to in the future, hopefully if I have the capability and capacity to actually create a foundation and sort of a reward/award type of a environment where people who want to be in this space could also be encouraged to evolve these type of sciences. But I'll talk more about that in the future, because the details are not set in stone yet. But that's another space that I'm excited about, because I think that the space of human frequencies and human waves really needs to be addressed at a much deeper level. And it is time, it's about damn time for us to start evolving in those areas. So I hope you found this session helpful. If you have any comments or any suggestions, let me know, because I can then tailor some of the videos the way in which you think it's more valuable. And then again, I'll just keep doing these videos. Thanks again. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.